Good morning. What are dreams? Have you ever wondered? I was thinking about that this morning and what they really are. A lot of people say that dreams are just processing and recycling stuff that's happened during our day or significant events in our lives or whatever. That's such an interesting viewpoint. If you are a materialist, that is, if you believe that all that's real is what we can experience with our senses or with measuring devices that are like extensions of our senses, then of course you're going to think that dreams are nothing more than little chemical events going on in your brain. But I was thinking even materialists say that dreams are a way of our brains trying to process events that have happened to us. Well, as soon as you say that, it opens up the door to the question, sort of like, who is it that's trying to process? What's the point of that processing? As soon as we talk about processing events, we're already out of the realm of materialism and into the realm of mind or spirit, or, you could call it energy. And so even on that very basic fundamental level, it's clear there's a lot more going on than just chemical reactions going on in the physical brain. What really happens when we're dreaming is that we're entering different dimensions in a way, at least different types of consciousness. But I think it's probably more accurate to say dimensions, although I'm not entirely sure those are different things. I don't know if you've ever read the book An Experiment in Time. I think that's what it is, an experiment with time, perhaps. The fellow's name escapes me at the moment. Maybe it's Dunne, Dunne. At any rate, it's a fascinating exploration of a number of things. And one of the things that stood out most strongly for me is his experiments with dreaming and things that were going on with that really are inexplicable on a materialist level. On the physical level, they don't make sense. They're impossible. Like people meeting up in a dreamscape, going to sleep with the intention that they will all meet up somewhere, and then that being validated later, or people being able to dream forward in time. I found that fascinating. Not that necessarily the dreams were seeing the future, but the dreams were remembering things that happened not yet. Things that, as dreams remember things that happened yesterday, they also remembered things that happened tomorrow. And because our brains are biased, like programmed in a way not to only perceive time in one direction, that's trickier to notice. But apparently, according to his studies, it seems like everyone can do that, and everyone does do that. And we can learn to recognize when it's happened. So those are just a couple of the examples of how dreams are so much more than we imagine them to be. I remember also there was this one story of this girl who woke up one morning and was about to get out of bed to go to school, and forgive me if I don't get exactly the details correct, but it was something like, and then her alarm went off and she woke up. And she was kind of startled by that, and she got out of bed and she was starting to get ready for school, and her alarm went off and she woke up. And this went on. It must have driven her crazy. I can hardly imagine. But this went on and on all day. And every time she would get a little bit further through the day before she'd wake up and then realize that hasn't been real at all. And she didn't know, she could not tell if she were still dreaming or if she were awake. And the only way that she decided that she must have been awake is when she got to the very end of the day and went back to bed and was falling asleep again, and the alarm didn't go off. So, that really makes me wonder, what are dreams? It's like they're these little holidays that our soul gets from being trapped in this tiny little minuscule, hard, limited body, and where it gets to experience levels of reality that are much more real than this one. And I think that's part of why, if we don't dream, if we have dream deprivation, we start to go insane, or what we call insane. I think part of that is just, kind of some kind of rebellion against being locked into this physical self for too long. And part of it is just that we can't keep up this level of denial of how reality really works. And it starts to bleed through into our waking life. Because in dreams, anything we choose when we realize we're dreaming, that is lucid dreaming, we can choose anything we want to happen, and it immediately happens. And in fact, many times when we're dreaming without conscious volition, our thoughts or ideas lead a dream in a certain direction. And it just happens, suddenly, we're not at the beach, we're on a snowfield, and we're not walking the dog, we're driving in a car, right? It just slips from one experience into another. And that's more how deeper levels of reality work, that we, in fact, do have that power in waking life as well. We're starting to learn that as a species. We're starting to step into that power as a species of kind of lucid dreaming our awake times, so that the power of manifestation and magic and healing and all of that is so much more potent now. And I'll tell you someday about the changes in healing that are going on. At any rate, so our souls or our minds or our consciousness get these little escapes into how the world, how the universe, how existence really works beyond the world of form. And I think we need that for our basic level of functioning. It's just too limiting to live in this sort of cage of flesh. And then there are other levels that happen in dreams where they're not dreams at all, where they're visions of the future or visions of something happening elsewhere that we in our little bodies couldn't perceive, but in that expanded state of consciousness we can. Or they are times when it's easier for people on the other side of that veil between physical and non-physical life can come through and visit us. And those feel different than other dreams. They're much more vivid. They're much more impactful. They stay with us. We often remember those kind of dreams for years or decades, whereas a regular dream, it fades away shortly. And there are other things we can experience in our dreams as well. I remember having experience of different existences, different lives, not on this planet necessarily, not on any kind of a planet at all, really. There are just so many things that are going on in our dreams that are so much more real than what we consider real in waking life. And I guess I just thought I could share that with you today and put that out there and give you a bit of, set maybe a little bit of a challenge. See if you can't look at your day as if it were a dream. And if it were a dream, how would you change it? If you were lucid dreaming and you had the power, how would you change that dream of your daily life? And that's something that's very powerful, to step into that kind of awareness. And in reality, your waking life is a dream. Swami Radha, who I learned dream yoga from, I am a dream yoga teacher. I have a few yoga credentials. And in her dream yoga, she says that you can, if you don't have a sleeping dream you can always work with a waking dream. That is an event in your life that's happened. No matter how small or how large, a butterfly landing on your shoulder, or, running into an old friend, or whatever it is that happens in your day, you can interpret it and process it exactly like a dream, because it all is a dream. And dreams are less dreamlike than waking life. And it's really hard to see when we're awake in the waking life. But whenever we step out of that, dreams can be so real that it's very hard to tell whether we're awake or not. I've had that experience numerous times, especially lately. There's a certain thing where I'm getting into an elevator and I'm thinking, is this real? I'll do that in my dreams because I have these weird elevator dreams sometimes. And I'll say, no, this is real. I'm looking around me. This is real. I can get in the elevator. Nothing weird's going to happen. And then sure enough, I'm not even awake. So it's been interesting. Anyway, that's what I want to share with you today. I should sign off before this gets even longer. And I wish you the very best dream of your life today. And I will see you again tomorrow. Blessed be.